And actually, I have to double and triple and quadruple check this every time because I want to go over these quarterbacks in chronologically drafted order. And I'm like, oh yeah, Penix was 4th. So we're going to Michael Penix, number 8 overall selection for the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins started most of the year, but Penix took over the last month or so of the season. Charles, I'm going to give you the floor. How are we feeling about Michael Penix in May before he starts his second year starting a quarterback?
I really wish they had held on to that first round pick, man. And that's not to say.
Still thinking about it.
Look,
Last year's
all
and
connected.
next year's.
Yeah, it's all connected. It's all connected, you know. So this is why I was just like, oh man, really? Like we're gonna giving away the first round pick right now? So I think Penix, like when you average out all of it, is probably fine. I don't know if he's going to be like consistent enough to be good, but we were talking about it yesterday, and I think that he could end up being one of these like box score scout lovers where you look at the final score or you look at the final thing and it says like 21 of 35, 315 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Like, oh, that's not that bad. And then if you like watch the game, like a lot of it comes like 1 or 2 plays, because he can absolutely generate the big plays with his arm. He's got a cannon. But it can be all over the place sometimes. And I don't know how reasonable it is to expect that part of his game to change, right? Because that's who he was at Indiana. That's who he was at Washington. And that's who he was in the short sample size we saw him last year. So with that 7 years of playing like this, yep. I mean, I'm going to guess that's probably who he is. So I think they have enough around him to push for, potentially 7-8 wins, depending on how the rest of the NFC South shakes out. But I struggle to see a world where, like, especially this year, his first year as a starter, where the accuracy like gets pulled back into a point where he can be consistent enough where the arm strength is a factor on every play instead of like 60% of his plays. I think there's a 2-play sequence in the game where they had against the Commanders last year that I think just fully describes who he is as a player, because they had Drake London wide open, like in the corner of the end zone for a touchdown. And that ball could have hit a baby in the stands, bro. And Drake was wide open. And then the next play, you have Kyle Pitts, who's draped in like quadruple coverage on the goal line, and he pins it right on his chest in the swarm of defenders for a touchdown that got them back into the game. So those are the 2 Penixes. And you're going to see a lot of both in every single game that they play. It'll be as fun as it's aggravating. I think it'll probably equal out to about an average season when we're all said and done.
You almost nailed it, like 7-8 wins. Their over-under win total right now is 7.5. The Patriots have a higher win total than the Falcons right now. Patriots are 8.5. I know this is betting and all that, but Falcons.
We don't play
7.5.
defense in Atlanta. We don't do that. So.
No, you do, but then you get 240-pound edge rushers, so you can go against the Panthers and the Bucs and the Saints. maybe. Matt, what about you with Michael Penix?
Yeah, he's a journey, man. I mean, like, just even watching him, like,
journey, man.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Even just watching him throw out routes last year in his 3 starts was a wild ride. I mean, on the whole, he had 15 attempts on out routes last year, 11 completions, 9.8 yards per attempt. But like, actually putting your eyeballs on those 4 incompletions, it's like Charles said, you could like hit somebody in the stand, like, because they weren't even close. So it was either like the best catch of Drake London's career or the most disgusting miss that you've ever seen a quarterback make when Drake London is wide open. So like, as a big Drake London guy, I'm excited about Penix because I think there's a lot about his game that we've just never seen a quarterback be able to access Drake London in those areas. And I think the offense is so well constructed to get the most out of Drake as a in-breaking route guy that I think Penix, as long as he can hit the broadside of a barn, will be able to like London will make him a better quarterback. He'll make him a more like, he looks more like an accurate quarterback, with, like Charles said, when you look at the box score, because he's such a good separator and they design him so much good stuff over the middle of the field. And then he does have the arm and the stones to access those deep outbreaking routes and things like that. It's just, can you be consistent, not just drive to drive, but like play to play? So I think he's going to be a tough guy for me to place on the optimism scale. So I'm going to be thinking about that as you're talking here. But that's just watch him throw out routes, and I think you'll get like sort of the journey that I'm talking about here.
Yeah, the first couple drives against Carolina in Week 18, I don't think he throws one on target throw, even one that's been highlighted, because people. And I went through it and I was just like, wow. Like,
okay. There's one throw like early in that game where I think he hits Mooney on the sideline, but I wasn't sure if he was actually. Yes, I was like, I don't think he was actually throwing it to Mooney on that play.
No, he wasn't. Eyes, everything. I watched it 100 times, and people are clipping that like it's some S tier throw. And no, he just missed so bad that it ended up being a whole shot throw. And that's the thing. He has an absolute hose. That thing, you can hang clothes on the throws that he can whip that thing. It's elongated, you know. Someone had a great joke last year when he was coming out, because they were trying to just make. I wish I could credit them, but they said Byron Leftwich, seriously, because he's a lefty. No, like he's truly a left-handed quarterback, so he's like a mini Byron Leftwich, and I was like, yeah, that actually nails it. There's not a lot of touch on his throws. He's going to try though, and I do like that. I do appreciate that he tried. The Washington Commanders game, he throws because Bobby Wagner can't cover, so he throws a seam ball on a dagger concept, which not a lot of guys do. Like even vets do it. Jordan Love doesn't. We laugh. We're like, oh, aggressive Jordan Love. Dak Prescott doesn't. We're like, yeah, you better have your head, your chin strapped up if you're a receiver, Dak Prescott. There's Penix taking an extra hitch and just goes, yep. Rifles it in, and the receiver gets destroyed by the backside safety. Actually, a poor design, I will say, if I were critiquing the design, because you have to hold the backside safety. That's another discussion. But he's going to try it. And I always like quarterbacks that try it. There's a little Jay Cutler here, where it's like, he's going to make some highlight throws. He's going to have 5 misses that you're like, no other quarterback misses like that.
Yeah.
He's not accurate. I'll just straight up say, he's not accurate. He's not. He's truly just a howitzer back there, and just then you just hope that he goes into the right spot, because it's going to blow up. Raheem Morris talked about the pro day or the private workout. The ball was whizzing by his ear when he was playing linebacker. I was like, did you see where it went?
It went over your head. You don't
that quote killed me, because like, you need to hear it. Like, we can see it. We know that he has a strong arm. I can see it.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, when you guys were talking about it might have hit a baby in the stands or whatever, I thought of Varsity Blues, where the guy, James Vanderbeek, clocks it and he throws it to the sideline and he hits the guy on the horse. Like that. That's what Penix throw. And it's not like we're just totally making fun of everything, but it's just like, it's wild when you watch it. Like at the Commanders game, the Panthers game, I was watching those. There's just some bad misses, and not like where it's like, oh, you got knocked off the launch point. You got knocked. So he has to clean that up. But like Charles said, I've seen a lot of Michael Penix. I watched him at Indiana. I watched him at Washington. This was his biggest negative, was that his accuracy is all over the place. It's scatter shot. He's going to give guys chances. I'll even bring up the Commanders game again. He had a back of the end zone where he misses one guy, but then it's an extended play. He gives Drake London a shot at the ball in the back of the end zone. I'm like, he tries it at least. Some guys would just scramble, take a sack or whatever. It's I appreciate that. But the thing is, too, it's going to get harder. Last year, the Falcons finished with a 49.1 rushing success rate on running back runs. Okay, sounds high, right? Just running back runs. That's tied for the best rushing success rate by a team since 2002. They're tied with the 2004 Chiefs, who had multiple All-Pro linemen and Priest Holmes and Larry Johnson. It's literally the best running back run game that we have seen in modern football. I consider modern football from 2002 onwards. it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
So there's going to be more on it. I'm just saying it's math. It's going to be a really good run game. That is what this team is based on. I thought there was a big siloed offense though. Zone run, zone run, zone run. No play action looked like zone. No bootlegs looked like zone. The offense got to be a little more conducive, and I think better for that that's just me looking holistically at the whole offense.
Yeah.
Thing is with him, he doesn't really throw well on the move. Like, because he's so rigid and everything. So I'm curious how they kind of solve that formula for their offense, because their run game is going to be very good. Not going to be historically good, but very good. Might be historically good. Who knows? But I do think there's going to be a drop off. He's going to have to do more lifting because of that. So we'll see. The highlights are going to be cool. Matt, I'm going to put it on you now. What's your optimism scale?
Now I think I'm just gonna compare him to like the scorpions that they used in Game of Thrones, like the big like crossbow things that they shot at the dragon.
Yeah.
Like they either don't, it doesn't. Crank it to take. You got to really crank it up, and when it hits something, it's gonna kill a dragon. But when he misses, like it's not even gonna come close, and not like it has truly no impact. So for the scorpion, Michael Penix, I think I'm gonna go like. I think I'll go 5.5. I think I'll go 5.5 because I'm very excited to watch him. Like he's gonna be, even if I don't watch the game on Sunday, just because it's in the 1 o'clock window or whatever. Like that's gonna be a fun rewatch game. Like it's gonna be a blast. But your point about just like natural regression with the run game, and also like them and the Cardinals are on my radar that they did like truly nothing on offense, like nothing. And I know that they had to do both those teams needed. Yeah, both those teams needed. I mean, from like a personnel addition standpoint.
Oh, you need personnel.
Like, both of those teams like needed so much help on the defense. I get it, but
still do.
I think I still do.
All in, man.
God, I love this. God, I love this team so much. But like, I think you're also inviting some natural regression when you don't make any sort of additions either. And like I think the run game needed to evolve from like strictly outside zone stuff. Does that bring down the efficiency? And like we're talking about all these outbreaking routes. Darnell Mooney's best stuff last year was working like outbreaking routes with Kirk Cousins, and he's just not as big of a target as Drake London. So does he have that season again? So there's a little bit more questions I think than maybe we might be giving it credit for on this offense right now. But I do really like, I admire our buddy Derek Klassen talks about honorable like football, and I think Michael Penix is going to be really high on the honorable. For good results, good or bad, I think he's going to be very high on the honorable and like watchability rankings.
In wrestling, there was a guy named Chris Candido, and his gimmick was that no gimmicks needed. And that's kind of Michael Penix. Like there's no gimmicks with this. This is just straight launching balls and everything. I really like that. Cutler, I brought up that comparison. Brandon Marshall was probably the receiver that did best with Jay Cutler. And then my dad was there. They drafted Alshon Jeffrey for a reason, because it was like, we need big bodies because that ball is going to go every which direction. So I think Penix is of that same ilk, where Drake London and Kyle Pitts are actually great for this because of the wingspans that they bring. Charles, I'm scared to ask, actually. I'm excited to ask. Where are you at? Optimism scale.
5, I guess.
Okay.
Average, just like I expect the final output to be.
Yeah. I know, right? I'm going to go with 5, too. That's kind of how I feel. It's not that I'm not. Guys do things, they grow as pros ways we don't ever expect, that. But it's not like I'm not looking forward to watching the Falcons. I'm excited to watch this offense. Bijan rocks. The run game is awesome. Tyler Algier is awesome. Drake London's great. I think there's gonna be a lot of cool with the offense. I just think there's gonna be some real lows with some of these throws.
I'm scared of the O-line health regression too, because they were so healthy last year.
Very good point.
And now Dahlman's out. I don't really think that's a huge loss. I thought Newsel played just fine in replacement of him too. So it'll be kind of interesting. Lefty center snapping the lefty quarterback.
I was just gonna bring it up. I've never heard that.
I don't think I've seen it before either.
Well, because most lefty centers, they teach them when you're under center to switch hands to go righty. Because it just feels weird as the quarterback. It really does. It feels like the finger. All it feels weird. That sounded bad. But the Falcons have so many lefties. Bijan's a lefty. Drake London's a lefty. Penix is a lefty. Now the center's a lefty. Yeah, they're on to something here. They got a great batters lineup. Great bullpen working here. They can get all the lefty hitters out. No, but that is something. But great shout out at the center, though. I think he's solid. I actually kind of like him. But yeah, the O-line health is someone we got to keep an eye on.